today it's an out and out session video. I'm at Southfield Reservoir. Loads of you know the venue. I've got about 6 different videos to do today. A couple for Matrix. I've got one to do for YouTube and a couple to do for Patron TV, and there are some other things as well that I'm going to be doing today. This is because of social distancing. It's just a brilliant venue. You know, it's somewhere I can bring Dad. Dad's got his tattle. It's just somewhere where there's loads of space. It's not fishing fantastic, but it's just a nice venue where I can come, do some filming. Dad can fish as well. And we've it's the wind off our backs, as you can see. There's a few anglers here already. It's just gone 8 o'clock, but the wind's off our backs. It's still pretty mild, but I'm quite confident we're going to catch a few fish. This is very much a session video, so I'm going to be using a ground bait that I've never used on here before, and I know it's a ground bait that possibly a lot of you have never even heard of, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. I'm going to show you the rigs, I'll show you the tattle, and I'll show you my setup. But first, I'm just going to sort my ground bait out. Well, the mix that I'm going to be using today it's a mix from Bowland. I know lots of you have been using this kind of a mix because you message me all the time and I get to hear about it. This is the first time I actually get a chance to go out and fish with Bowland ground bait. It's a Polish ground bait, and there is quite a few different mixes in the range. This is the first one that I've actually featured on one of these videos, and as you can see, it's got a lovely picture of a bream on there, and it's got the word bream and brasm on there. These are 3 kilo bags. That's probably the first thing that's going to hit you, the fact that how big the bag is, and I think that's going to be reflected in the value for money in the cost of the ground bait as well. I know lots and lots of lads use these mixers in Ireland as well when they go over there on festivals and things, so you know it's probably a very cost-effective kind of mix to use. So it's a 3 kilo bag. You can see the colour of the mix through the bag. It's a really light colour. It'll darken down a bit as we mix it. So let's get it mixed up and see what it's going to be like. It's got the word brasm on there, so that's the kind of smell that I'm expecting. Yeah, it's very much it is a cereal mix, so there's no fish meal in this, so that in itself is going to be interesting on this venue, because those that know the venue and know about my fishing on here, you'll know that I usually use, or always use, fish meal on here. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of particle feed in there. There's large chunks of yellow in there. I don't know if that's corn or what it is, but there we can go. There you can see, I mean, there's quite a bit of feed in there anyway, so let's get it mixed up. It's not as strong as some of the, like some of the other brasm smells, but it is definitely got that smell. It's just not quite as strong. It's a light colour mix. I haven't used a mix as light as this on this venue for quite a long time, so it'll be interesting to see what we catch with this today. Like I said, there are some particles of feed in there, so I'm mixing this as soon as I've got to my peg. I'm not going to be fishing for at least an hour today, so that's why I'm mixing this now, because these larger particles, it'll just give them a chance to soak in some of that water. I'm not mixing anything else with this, as you've seen. It's just pure 100% of this mix with water. There's nothing in the water, but yeah, it's a really nice mix. It's quite fluffy actually at the minute, so just add a touch more water. And then I'm going to give this, like I say, give it half an hour, come back to it, and I'm sure some of those, well, all those particles will have soaked up some of this water, so I guess I'm going to have to add some more water to it. A bit of crumb in there, you can see that. It has got a crummy smell to it, but it's also got that brasmy kind of smell as well. So that's it. So I'm going to give that 30 minutes now, and then what I'm going to do is I'll just show you the rods and stuff that I'm going to be using today, the types of rigs. I'll talk you through the setup, and then we'll come back to this and add a little bit more water. Now, a very common question that I've been getting asked for months now, and it's something that I probably should have addressed much sooner. This is the 1.95 metre 4-rod stiff holdall, okay? Lots and lots of people ask me about how many rods I can actually get in this rod bag. You know, I use this on just about all the sessions I go on. Let's have a look what I've got in here. Okay, so there's 2 main compartments with zips. Lots of people looked at this and they've always wondered how many rods I can actually get in here. So, alright, so the first thing I've got in here is the tip tube. Okay, so they're all my spare tips for those people that don't know. All my spare tips are in there for all my feeder rods, okay, so I can change them quickly and easily if I need to. If anyone's wondering why they're stored that way, and not that way, if you do it that way, then when you empty the tips out, you can quickly and easily read the strength of each tip. Whereas if the colour tip ends were at this end, you might not always remember exactly what colour refers to what strength tip. So if you do it that way, it's just a nice, quick, easy way of selecting the right tip, so you don't make any mistakes. Now, in here we've got, so straight away there, I've got two rods in this compartment. They're both with 3000 Horizon X reels. Okay, I've got one there, that's a 12-foot rod on a 5000 Horizon reel. Okay, the next compartment is all my bits and bobs. So this is basically, it's got the measuring sticks. Okay, we've got an extendable feeder arm. That's all I carry really on most of the venues that I fish now. Okay, I've got two landing net handles in there. Always carry a spare just in case. That's an attachment that I recently started using for my landing net. And then that is just a long extending bank stick, just in case. I always carry that anyway. And then in the other compartment, I've actually got two larger reels there in that one compartment. So I've got the FEEDER 5500, that's on a 12-foot rod, and I've also got another 12-foot rod, which is the XC, on with a 5000 reel. So hopefully that's going to answer some people's questions, because I've got all my bits in there in one compartment, everything that I need there, including a spare landing net handle, two rods there, 3, 4, 5, and I could probably get another 3000 reel in there if I tried, if I needed to carry one. So it's marked up as a 4-rod bag, but in actual fact, when I come to venues like this with these size reels and these length rods, I can get 5 rods in there and all my bits and bobs. Now, I know using measuring sticks for clipping up is not for everyone, but for me personally, I think it's the best way to go. So I'm going to fish two ranges today. I'm going to fish 25 metres and 50 metres. This has been exactly 30 minutes now. It has dried out quite a bit, as you can see. Still a few lumps in there, but that's like any mix, isn't it? I'm going to put it through a sieve anyway. Quite a bit of feed in there. This is going to be interesting, this. I've never really fished with a mix like this on here before. I'm just going to add a bit more water to it, and then I'm going to put it through a sieve, just to make sure it's nice and, you know, to make sure all that water's evenly distributed through the mix and everything. I'm not going to be fishing for about another 20 minutes or so anyway. That's slightly over wet at the minute, slightly, but that will dry out. And then when I push that through the sieve, these lumps that are wetter than everywhere else will just be kind of distributed out, you know, across the mix. But that's a lovely mix. I really do. It's not really strong, you know. It has got a bit of flavour in there, a bit of smell in there, but it's not super strong. You can definitely smell a bit of crumb in there as well. But like I say, it is a cereal mix. It's not fish meal. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting going with this. What I'm going to do now is I'll just quickly show you the baits. Really super simple bait tray again today, just to try some things out. That's what I'm here to do. So I'll show you the bait tray. So like I say, it's just a session today, so I've only got 2 rods set up, that's all. I've got some other bits and bobs to try out in a bit, but it'll be interesting to see how we get on with this mix. So I've got the 3.3 metre XS Slim, and that's coupled with a 3000, that's the Horizon 3000 reel. And then on the longer rod, so that's the 25 metre line, this is the 50 metre line, that's a 3.6 metre XC class. No, I haven't got a feeder link on that particular rig, but I have on the other rig, and that's coupled with a 5000 Horizon reel. Both reels are coupled with 0.10 matrix submerge braid, so I've got braid on both of them, and they've both got the tapered shock leaders as well. So they've both got 1.5 ounce tips in as well. I don't think there's going to be much tow on it today. It can be very deceiving. Whilst the wind isn't hitting it here, it is obviously hitting it over there, and sometimes you get a bit of a turnover and you can have more tow than it actually appears. The geese are all still here, so I'm sure we're going to see them at some stage over the lines that we're going to be fishing. Look down the other side as well, but there's 3 more anglers to come as well. They've just arrived, so it's not actually a match scenario, but it's not going to be far off, to be honest. So I'm going to go back to the ground bait now, see what the ground bait's like, and I'll talk you through the baits that I've got on the side tray. Right then, the bait tray. just move that over there like that, so it's back in place. I've got the side tray box today. Great bit of kit, anything like this for this sort of venue, because you never know what the elements are going to throw at you. There we go. I told you it was simple, didn't I? So just got a tub of water there, that's just washing my hands, and obviously I can add water to my ground bait if I want to overwet it or change the consistency of it. We are bream fishing, so as you'd expect, we've got some lovely fresh, these are dendrobinas, picked those up this morning from Wickersley Angling. Got some casters. Don't usually feed casters on here, but I'm going to do it today just to see what happens. There's just half a pint there, oh, sorry, there's a pint there, and then I've got some fluoro live pinkies, and that is it. I'm going to try different hook baits out today. I'm mainly going to be feeding worm and caster. I've got some fluoro pinkies that I could put in as well. No idea what stamp of fish we might be after today, but that's it. Super simple. Obviously that's a little pot, that's a 150ml pot, and the scissors, and that's for chopping the worm. And I'll just chop that, because it's not a match or anything, I'll just chop the worm as I need it. Well, a common question, a common issue that I know a lot of people have is when you're fishing two lines like this, which line do you feed first? When it's a match, you know, there are different ways of looking at it. Obviously, if you're going to feed a line and you're going to go straight on it, then there are two trails of thought on that. One is you might be hoping to nick a fish straight away, right at the start of the match. You put a bit of feed in, you go straight over the top of it and you catch a fish. That is one way of thinking about it. The other way of thinking about it is you could feed it at the start and leave it. So that means you're going to fish somewhere else. So that area is going to get an amount of time to settle, where hopefully one or two fish will settle over, so that when you do pick that rod up and go on that line, there might be one or two fish waiting for you. There's loads of different trails of thoughts about it. For me personally, on this venue, I like to fish the longest line first. That's not always the case. When I was here a few days ago, I started on the shorter line, and I haven't really spotted a pattern at the moment. I know there are certain times here when I think that's best, but that tends to be when it's colder and the fish are further out into the reservoir. At the moment, I don't really know what's the best. I'll be absolutely honest with you, and I don't know if anybody knows. So today I'm going to start on the 25-meter line, leave my 50-meter line, leave it for a period of time. Depends what's happening at 25 meters. So I'm going to put some feed out there, start at 25 meters, just get a feel for what's there, catch anything, see how we go, and then hopefully when I do drop on that 50-meter line, there might be one or two fish waiting for us. So I'm just going to chop the worm as I go today. The kind of feeders I'm going to be using are these babies, okay? Now, it's no secret that I love that style of horizon feeder for feeding initially. That's because these empty really quickly. It's only 4 feet deep where we're fishing, and when I put some initial feed in, I love to fish with that style feeder. However, some areas of this reservoir are quite soft, and that might sink in if it is soft out there whilst I'm actually fishing, and that's why I love to use that style of horizon feeder for when I'm actually fishing, just because it sits on that soft bottom better. The perfect scenario would be to use a side weighted feeder like that one. That is ideal. If I could get that out to 50 meters, I would fish that at 50 meters, but that's almost never an option. We usually have to go to a feeder of that style, the horizon, just because of the wind and the range that we're fishing. That is the style of feeder that I'll use on the 25-meter line. I'm initially going to feed with a 30-gram version like that, a 5-hole, just to get some feed in, and then it's the 20-gram 4-hole version that I'll be using on that line for actually fishing with. Okay, so all I'm going to feed on that longer line is, let's get the 3.6 meter. So this is a 3.6 meter XC class. I haven't got a feeder link on this one today, I'm just trying it out without. Okay, so all I've got is a swivel with the bead built in. These are obviously the matrix ones. These are brilliant, these beads, because they're all molded from one mold basically, so they don't split or anything. There are some out there on the market that will split, so be careful if this is the kind of thing you're going to be using. The matrix ones are solid, and I've never had one break on me. So I've got that just free running. It's on a tapered shock leader, on one of our tapered shock leaders, and then I've got that just running to a rubber stopper there that I've pulled onto the line. But then just to ensure it, because I'm fishing 50 meters and I might need to go further than that, I've just squeezed on an easy shot, just to give that you know, a little bit more security on the cast, because I might be punching a 40-gram feeder out there, and that float stop, the black rubber might not quite be strong enough on its own. Okay, and that's it. Nice and simple rig. Like I say, it's free running. This rod's actually got a 2-ounce tip in it, and I'm just going to feed it with the 40-gram version of the Wire Horizon. Okay, so I'm just going to put 4 feederfuls of bait out there just to kick it off, and then I'm going to start fishing at 25 meters and rest this line, but hopefully we can catch some fish at 20 meters in the meantime. So all I'm going to kick off with is I'm going to put some casters in there, okay, and some chopped worm. I'm not going to put too much in, but enough for, you know, 1 or 2 fish to have settled there when I go on it in half an hour or so. Okay, so this is, I don't know if this is a 6-hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, it's a 6-hole, 40 gram. Okay, so I like to put just a little bit in first, and then put the bait in that way with my finger. And like I say, it's only 4 feet deep, and we are emptying it straight away, so there's no point in squeezing it in too tight. As you can see there, plenty of feed in there. It's a nice fluffy mix at the minute. It's slightly over damp, this mix, at the minute, but that's all right. I like that. Let's just see what it's like in the water. Should be, I mean, that's one of the brightest coloured mixers I've used on here. There we go. And you might just be able to tell if I do that again for you. I know this is only a loose crumb. It's going to the right slightly, so there's a little bit of surface, top surface toe going to the right, so that might affect our tip when we get out there. So I'm going to put 4 of these feeders out there, 50 meters, and then I'm going to give it at least half an hour before I actually think about going on it. Right, on the clip, just give it a few seconds just to make sure it's going to empty out there. The last thing you want is to start bringing it back too quickly, because then you might be running the risk of the feeder not emptying properly out there actually on the clip, and it's emptying on its way back towards you. Let's give that a few jerks to get the feeder empty. So I'm going to put 3 more of those in, and then we're going to start on that 25 meter line. Well, it's been exactly 30 minutes now since I fed that line. I've just had 30 minutes on that 25 metre line. I haven't had a single indication. I haven't seen any other fish caught either. The geese have just moved in now. So I'm going to have a look on that 50 metre line now. Like I say, it's been exactly 30 minutes. Hopefully there's going to be a fish there waiting for us. I'm starting off quick, nice and confident. I've got 0.12 hook length, 50 centimetre hook length, and it's to a size 14 hook. I can't show you the hook, it's a prototype hook. These will be out. I've been told they're going to be out in July. We've been using them for quite a while, so I can't show you at the moment. Well, there's definitely some fish there now. I haven't seen another fish caught yet, believe it or not. Just looking down to my left. I'm not looking to the right too much because obviously I'm facing that way, but I'm getting little indications now. And yeah, I mean, this makes, while I'm sat here, obviously I can smell it, and it's really quite a mild kind of flavour to it, a mild smell to it, but it's definitely got that brazza meat. There's a bite there now, possibly a small fish. I haven't seen any fish caught, never mind just small fish or bream. I've got a feeling that fish might be on, but I'm just going to make sure. But it's really quite a mild smell coming off this ground bait, and it binds really well. When you put it in the edge, I mean, you can see what it's like when it goes in. I mean, this is not over wet in any way. That little bit there is quite dry, but it binds really well. I mean, you can tell that it's got that crumb to it. There's a bite there now. Let's have him. Oh, just pulled off that one. That felt like a better fish, actually. Yeah, that felt like a better fish, but I pulled off it. Oh, good. Hopefully that's a sign that there's one or two better fish turning up now. The bites there straight away. That's another fish. I was much quicker that now. I'm getting bites now within the first minute, which is good. They're not big fish, but you are putting fish in the net. I fished here a few days ago and I literally had one bite all day. I used a completely different mix from this and I was just down to the left. This is peg 43. For those people that know the venue, I was actually down in the 30s, high 30s. Well, it could be a little bit bigger than I thought, this fish. Slightly better. If it's a skimmer or a hybrid. Let's net him. There we go. See, if they keep coming, you can build a weight up of them until, obviously they're great to take, until the bream turn up. There we go, another quick fish again. They're really coming to that now. It's obviously really working. That's why I like these sorts of mixes, you know, but it's nice and light, it's visual. More of a summer mix really, I mean that's what we'd call it. But the fish are just coming quicker and quicker now. Let's swing him. There we go. Lovely fish. Tiny bit of a ripple coming now, right to left at the moment. I think that can only help. We'll see if we can keep these fish coming. It'll be interesting to see if these small fish keep coming, and it'll also be interesting to see if any of those better fish turn up as well. But as I'm looking down the line, there doesn't seem to be anybody catching at the minute. Another bite there. It's been in less than a minute again. Another indication. And again, he must be on. Yep. Oh, this is really working now. Like I said, these aren't big fish, but there aren't any big fish feeding at the moment, but there's nobody else even catching these sorts of fish. Really nice on braid. Just keep everything nice and direct, you know, it just feels everything's just as though you've seen every indication on the tip. Another one. Swing him in. And he's just hooked underneath the chin, bottom lip, sorry. There we go, lovely stamp. That's another small fish. Getting an indication now every single cast. It's unbelievable. The conditions, everything is against bream fishing. I haven't seen any bream caught at all, but these fish are coming every single cast. or I'm getting a bite every single cast. I'm not hitting every single one, but it just shows that you can keep putting weight in the net. Beautiful little fish like that. There are loads out there. This mix is obviously, it's ideal for these sorts of fish as well, while these bream aren't here. So it's just been great to catch loads of fish that, you know, other people are sat there waiting for, you know, they've sat there 2 hours now and not caught a fish. I'm getting an indication every single cast fishing like this. It's just a really nice busy way of fishing, but in some matches you've got to take whatever's there. You know, if the bigger fish are going to rock up later on, then that's great. If everyone's going to catch them, that can happen on this venue. They can rock up in the last half an hour. However, if you've managed to put together 2, 3, 4, 5 pound of other fish as well, that can be, you know, the kind of approach that's going to make the difference. Well, it's safe to say that even though the bream aren't feeding right now, there are loads and loads of fish out there. It's been great to see this new mix. This is a bowline mix. I am going to be featuring more of these mixes. There are quite a few mixes in the range. If you're interested in getting hold of any of these, then I'll put the phone number and the contact details below for you. So they are mixes I'm going to be using more often. It's been an interesting session. I haven't caught any fish at 25 metres. I don't know why. I just haven't. I've had a couple of little indications, but not really caught there. Everything's come from that 50 metre mark, but it's been a short but very enjoyable session. Hope you've enjoyed just sharing it with me. Don't forget, if you want to see any of the future videos, just hit subscribe there. And if you want to see more coaching tuition style videos, then check out my other channel just there, Patron TV. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all next time.